So I am interested in addressing the issues of the news media and what is termed the rise of Donald Trump. And what I'm noticing and thinking is there's a cult of celebrity. And that's essentially, people are fascinated with celebrities, movie stars, musicians, people who live a sort of glamorous lifestyle. They're part of a certain class of people. And this is fascinating to people outside of that class, and they want to know. They want to be nosy. They want to be able to peer inside of that life and see what's going on. This is what gives rise to reality TV. This is why Ozzy Osbourne's show on MTV is part of why it's so popular. And then later on we see Keeping Up with the Kardashians. This feeds into the Donald Trump phenomenon with this show, The Apprentice, and I think that's part of why the way the news media treated Donald Trump and how they handled his political campaign sort of fed into his popularity. There's the observation that he got free publicity. He would say something, all the news media outlets would talk about Trump and what he said, giving him free airtime. And during times where people are normally watching. Early on in his campaign, some news media outlets, I believe it was newspapers, they said, well, we'll talk about Donald Trump in our entertainment section, not in the politics section. And I think that, more, in a way, I think that more news media outlets should have pursued that. I think that what you see is what I call clickbait. And this happens when I go on any innocuous news website, in particular the MSNBC, like the homepage on my Microsoft Chrome page, and it's the Bing search engine main page, but I'm seeing some news, but a lot of celebrity news, a lot of celebrity gossip and intrusive information. And I find it's very jarring and disturbing, especially when you see an article pop up saying, why does so-and-so want to be or keep their private life? What do they do in their private life? And the immediate response for me is, well, yeah, they want to be private. They want to not have parts of themselves exposed. And it's just very strange and disturbing. I think that a campaign should be started where people basically hold news media outlets accountable and say, tone down the celebrity gossip. Yes, there's going to be people who are interested in the intimate details about celebrities, but I think ideally news media, really only things you need to talk about are, when it comes to a celebrity such as a movie star, is okay, this person died. Maybe you can talk about if they got married. Maybe you can talk about if they had a child. But I think that's about it. And in the case of Prince, okay, he died. This is the impact he had in his life on people around him. Talk about the charity and the impact on his community. I think that is worthwhile information to be shared, but not whatever gossip, whatever was said, whatever was tweeted. We don't need journalists on the television talking about or reading tweets. I think that's a waste of talent, a waste of airtime. We don't need journalists, just rehashing what other people are saying. I think that is the rise of Donald Trump, is people talking about his tweets, people repeating the things he said over and over again, and calling it discussion. I don't think that it advances discussion. I think that it unfortunately sets up a strange back and forth that to the untrained audience, or like basically, I shouldn't say untrained audience even, it's the casual audience. People who they're not paying full attention, or they're coming in and out of the program, channel surfing. They walk into the room, and they're only picking up on little things here and there. They don't get the full picture, and as a result, they're able to, they add to this national conversation that gives Donald Trump more attention. And I think that also does a great disservice to a lot of the political candidates out there who, they want to be able to come forward and say, this is what I believe, this is what I think, here are my different issues. And it's too much of a setting up the news media argument of like, what's the argument? Who is challenging? Who is denouncing? And how can we stir up the drama about this? And I think HBO's The Newsroom, was getting at this issue, getting at this point. And yeah, this is something that just needs to be addressed. But I think a big thing that can help getting momentum in the right direction is cut back on the celebrity news gossip information. There's the Inquirer magazine at the checkout aisle. That's where that is. That's why they exist the way they, in their capacity. I'm not interested in that. And it's, they are catchy headlines because they are designed to be catchy headlines. The news media outlets, you guys need to realize that you are going to get the things that get a lot of clicks, a lot of attention. But that's because it's a skewed, thing you are presenting. You have to be more conscious of the information you're providing and presenting to the public, and say, okay, it needs to be, the conversation needs to be a certain way. Not the way that, who is the most vocal in the room, and how do we cater to that individual? I think that, that is a bad way to proceed. So, I'm sorry for jumping all around the topic. I'm still kind of coming to terms with how to present this idea, this concept of a campaign to reform the news media outlets in the United States. So, but I know that it's something that can be done, something that can change. Thank you.